Hello and welcome to the Blackwell podcast. We love the strange more than Chloe loves to wake and bake. This week we're going to talk about Chloe Price.
Alrighty. So, before we do, we have a little announcement at the end of the video. So, you should probably stay tuned for that.
You definitely should.
Yeah, if you don't, just go away now. Okay, go away, please stay. Yeah, so as Jess said, we are really going to talk about Chloe this episode. I'm surprised that we haven't talked about her earlier, or Max, because we left her like to episode 7 and 8 when we really should have started at the beginning.
Right.
So
yeah, makes sense.
Let's kick right into it, shall we?
Alright, sounds good.
Okay, so we pretty much start off with our first interaction of Chloe is in the bathroom, where she's trying to confront Nathan after an incident. I think it was at a Vortex Club party, right?
It was essentially, I don't remember where it happened. Yeah, maybe at the Vortex Club party. It was when he drugged her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember her saying that he was creeping towards her with a camera. That's
right.
Mm-hmm. And she kicked over his lap.
Right.
Yeah.
It said she was blackmail or going to try to blackmail him. You know, I'll turn you in if you don't give me this money type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But little did she know he had a gun.
Right.
Whoops. And she gets shot, but that's pretty much where the story kicks off, right?
Right. And this is the first of many times that she gets shot.
Yeah, she's like the Kenny of Life is Strange.
So I guess, you know, at this point, we've probably spoiled a little bit, and it goes without saying. We've said it many times, but this episode does contain spoilers for all the episodes. So if there are some episodes that you haven't played yet, then you probably want to tune into this after you do so.
Yes, we should have done that beforehand,
Absolutely.
And we are sorry.
Right.
We're sorry for spoiling the first couple of minutes of the game.
Right, so even though we don't know it's Chloe,
yeah,
we have no idea. It's just some blue-haired girl.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, that kicks off the game. It's where Max realizes that she had rewind powers, or where she gets them, however you want to look at it. And it sort of kickstarts the long chain of events that make life so strange.
Intended.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you rewind, or you involuntary rewind. You go back and you pull the fire alarm in order to save Chloe's life. And then, you know, Max and Chloe actually reunite for the first time out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually see how much Chloe's changed from the last time that Max has seen her, because you can find a picture in Max's room when you're looking for Warren's flash drive and whatnot, where she has, you know, the when she's in the pirate outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Chloe and like Max is talking about her relationship with Chloe, which we'll talk about a little bit more in depth later on.
Right. So Max and Chloe haven't spoken in 5 years, which we ended in our Max episode, which was the last episode. And Chloe is understandably not too happy about that.
Yeah.
Chloe is not too happy about a lot of things in her life, as we'll find out. Her main mission at the time of her, Chloe's, is to find out what happened to Rachel, her friend Rachel Amber, which her and Rachel meet shortly after Max leaves for Washington, and they quickly become close friends. Whether this was Rachel was filling the void of her father William that died, or Max leaving, or whether they just legitimately hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
Get into that a little bit later. And so this is kind of like where I guess we align ourselves, Max, with Chloe's mission, and what the main arc for the first couple of episodes happens to be.
What happened to Rachel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like Rachel Amber's relationship with Chloe too is kind of like, were they girlfriends? Like, what were they like? I don't know.
Well, Chloe did call Rachel her angel at one point in episode 1.
Yeah, and she did. I feel like idolized her like more than like actually like Rachel liked her. So I feel like she just kind of followed her around like a puppy. I can just kind of picture that.
Yeah, I think Chloe was very much hurting at the time, and just sort of attached on to Rachel, and whether that was reciprocated or not is a little bit ambiguous, because you find Rachel was maybe trying to leave without telling Chloe, and of course Rachel's relationship with Frank, whereas Chloe, it's Chloe loved her. I mean, she even says that several times throughout the game.
Yeah.
So a little bit ambiguous that, at least on Chloe's side, it was very much more than a friendship, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that pretty much leads into like finding out about Chloe and how much she's changed, right? Where that, like, even in her life, that she's become a little bit more dangerous than what what Max remembers. Smoking weed, like dyeing her hair, getting tattoos, stealing guns and whatnot.
Right.
And we already talked about the death of William, and it kind of bounces back to David a little bit, which we will talk about later on.
Yeah.
And that kind of does lead them to the lighthouse, where Max tells Chloe about the vision that she had when Max passes out.
Right. So, I don't know. I guess let's diving further into the relationships. Let's start with William, her father. It's alluded to very much that they were very close. William and Chloe were before William died, and you go into the time jump as well as the alternate reality, the first photograph jump, I should say. You see that they were very close. Chloe was closer to William than she was with her mother, Joyce, even. So understandably, she was pretty torn up over William dying, which kind of led into just some of her, I guess her spiral down into the rebellious Chloe that we know and love today. William, she blames William in a way. It's one of those things where I won't say that she like legitimately blames him. It's one of those like she just doesn't deal with the grief of it well. Hasn't, even 5 years later after it's happened. So there's just a lot of, in some ways she blame, in some ways she just kind of lashes out at the memory of him, and which I'll talk a little bit more about Chloe's deal after we get through the relationships. But and then in the alternate timeline, they're still very close. You can talk to William and gather from him just how strong of a relationship they had. So it's pretty sad that she lost that. Well, it's not pretty sad. It's really sad that she lost that.
Mm-hmm. Even when you first change everything, when you see the pictures of Chloe change, you kind of see a life that she never really had. Where they go to Paris, where she gets the new car and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's just kind of hard to believe that when Chloe was like growing up to like the prime years of her childhood, that William wasn't really there because of that accident.
Right.
And having to live with just one parent.
Yeah.
Right. And she doesn't have a very good relationship with her mom in the main timeline either. Very, very rocky, very tenuous at best.
Kind of hit and miss, really.
Yeah, I feel like she kind of blames her mom for her father's death too. Not only just William, but like I feel like she blames Joyce too, because Joyce is the one that called and asked for William to come pick her up. So I feel like she holds that over her mom, even though it really wasn't her intention.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also too, like how quickly Joyce moved on, I guess, into marrying David. I'm like, she harbors a lot of resentment for that as well.
Especially because oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, especially because David isn't really, all warm and, welcoming to Chloe. He's kind of on
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so she does not get along with David in the least. Her and David are constantly at each other's throats. And I guess also that kind of rates the relationship that she has with her mom, at least on Joyce's end. She's constantly upset with Chloe because of the way Chloe acts towards David, because Joyce doesn't really have any idea the extent of what David is doing, and doesn't find out until later when you present it to her. But you can see that David is very controlling over Chloe.
Even somewhat violent as well, in some cases.
Yeah.
Because, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the choice that you had to make in order to see this. It was, I think, Max stepped out of the wardrobe, but she blamed Chloe, right? I think that was it. Where David actually hits Chloe in the face and.
Yeah, that was one of the options.
Yeah.
I don't know who chose that, but
no.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pick that.
Ugh. Just getting chills thinking about that.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of see that, Chloe is very much, it plays into how alone she feels, is, whether it's through self-isolation, through alienating herself from the rest of her family, or, just the fact that there's a lot going on there. And so more or less without family, I guess not in the literal sense, but, in the proper sense, when you think about the ties, it's just not there for Chloe, which, I guess would explain the closeness that she had with Rachel. It's just kind of filling another void there with that, as well as Max leaving. So she's not too happy with Max in the beginning. Again, understandably so, because Max hasn't talked to her in 5 years, really. But you can, of course, rebridge that relationship and, evolve it should you so choose. So why don't we talk a little bit about their relationship?
Where to start? I mean, from what you can learn, Max and Chloe were very close when they were growing up. I mean, even when even when Max came back after those 5 years, Chloe still kind of warmed up to her quite quickly, even though, and someone in the right mind wouldn't really trust someone that quickly if they just abandoned with no contact for that long, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even when Chloe finds out about Max's powers and whatnot, she kind of feels like she's ready to use that for advantage in the search for Rachel, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it almost seems like Chloe is using Max a little bit in the beginning, like just specifically for her powers, and not so much like she's kind of just, again, rushing into it with reckless abandon as everything else, and not really thinking about Max or anything to do
Getting
with Max's
killed.
feelings. Yeah. And just like think of like all the money we can make and all this stuff that we can do type deal.
Yeah.
Which you really, it speaks a lot to the immaturity of Chloe in the beginning, and you really do see her grow, especially, episode 3 and on. She's very, very impetuous and very, just reckless, but you really do see a different side of her come out if you develop that relationship. And, she really does in many ways kind of start redeeming herself for some of the stuff that she does in her episodes. Especially, some of the stuff as to Max, some of the, just how quickly she is to snap at Max for anything that Max does, that type of thing. And, being so controlling over Max, that type of deal. Which actually, caused people to not like Chloe. Especially in the beginning. Just because of kind of, well, I won't say, just because how controlling she was of Max and immature, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the best example that you can really see of Chloe snapping at Max and then doing a kind of 180 in a sense is the gap between episode 3 when she drops Max off at Blackwell, and episode 4 when Max is in Chloe's room when they're doing the research about Rachel and whatnot. And because if you look in the text messages, you can see how quickly that Chloe apologized to Max for snapping at her and whatnot. And just pretty much shows how forgiving Max can get over Chloe.
And even when when Max decides to take Kate's phone call, if you make that choice, Chloe kind of snaps at her at that point, taking a phone call, just because Max doesn't want to spend every waking minute with Chloe. It's kind of, I don't know, sad. I don't know. But then again, of course, she forgives her. It's just kind of it shows how emotional she can get.
Right. And Max even mentions it in her diary at that point, that she doesn't like that side of Chloe at all. And, it's kind of a problem for her. But then Chloe, later apologizes for doing that. And it's actually, at the hospital scene in episode 4 that you kind of see, I guess, really like one of the biggest leaps in Chloe's development is just how she comes forward and says, I'm glad that you were able to do this for Kate and realize that stuff was so severe. I'm really sorry for how I acted when you took that phone call and that thing. Which I think a lot of that comes from like Chloe being jealous of that, just because Max didn't respond in 5 years, but she'll, put off Chloe for even 2 minutes to take a phone call from someone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can develop that into sort of more of a romantic interest with Chloe and Max. Keep it platonic. You can keep it closer platonic, or even where they're a little bit distant, even at the end. Still, and it's so that one's kind of up to the player on how they choose to play through it. Chloe's not really close to anybody else. She's constantly fighting Frank. They're certainly not close at all. Justin is really the only other character that I can think of that she's like even halfway friends with.
She kind of praised Warren at one point for beating the crap out of Nathan.
Yeah.
Even, I don't know how, but Chloe got Warren's number. It's like it wasn't really explained, but it happened.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when, pretty much, if you have the choice to kiss Chloe or not, she'll text Warren about it, and I don't know how she got that number.
Probably went through Max's phone. I can see her doing that.
Straight up creeps on Max.
Jefferson, Samuel.
Oh, we kind of have to pretty much talk about that relationship with Jefferson, though, because pretty much the relationship between Chloe and Jefferson does a 180 in one episode in like, I want to say like an hour and a half, I think. Like an hour to an hour and a half. Because she has the hots for him, and he kills her.
So funny. But I want to know, is Chloe, like, does she have feelings for, like, Max? Is she straight? Is she, like, I wish I knew, because, I mean, I know it's the player and all, but, like she openly is attracted to Mr. Jefferson, but then she goes kisses Max in the alternate reality in the end, like, if you save Arcadia Bae. But so like I wish we knew like the canon.
Well, see, I think that I guess the canon of it is whatever you make your canon to be.
Yeah.
I think obviously Chloe definitely prefers women and she may have some attraction toward men, but she definitely prefers women. But I guess, I don't know. I kind of like that approach that the game took, where they didn't make it so much about like defining the label of it so much as it was just we're doing what they were doing. But yeah, so either way you choose it, I don't know. And like that goes the same for Max too, is like, if you choose, Warren, if you follow that path and all that, then that's canon for you, versus follow exclusively Chloe and going down that path, canon for whoever did that. So I don't think there is a like absolute canon, and I think that's all canonical depending on how you do it.
Yeah.
That's what makes the game so great.
Right. It's, it ends up either you save Chloe or you kill her ultimately. So, there is just the two really, but it still is some uniqueness to each individual player because of just the path that you go down to get there. Which we talked about that more in depth in previous episodes, but Um, I I think that's really, I think those are really the only relationships that you see Chloe having with anybody other than Nathan, I guess, which, we kind of already hit on. They probably had just some involvement with each other just because of Rachel's involvement with him. Is how they knew each other, I guess. And then, of course, through Frank and the drug use. And, but, she's very, very ready to kill Nathan at pretty much every single point in the game, especially after finding Rachel's body.
I mean, there is a really interesting point about where she finds Rachel in the junkyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chloe and Rachel have been hanging out there for a while, right?
Right.
The one thing that I think she would notice is if a piece, if some grass changes, like from being recently dug up and whatnot. But that makes any sense? To where was it Jefferson or Nathan that hit the body there?
I think it was. I think Jefferson, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Nathan was on the floor with Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I think it was Jefferson that dug the body there.
Yeah.
I feel like he would do all the dirty work.
Yeah. And even with the junkyard, you kind of get to see small hints about Rachel and Chloe's relationship in the trying to think what it's like the little hut made out of cinder blocks, right?
Right.
Where you get to see Rachel's makeup, the bracelets, the graffiti, the Vortex Club posters. It's just and the mixtape.
The mixtape, well. Yeah.
And it just kind of shows they would go there quite frequently just to get away from Arcadia Bae. Just,
right.
And for the trip.
It's
never really got to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they both borrow the money from Frank in order to take that trip.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, Frank's deal with Chloe is because Frank is trying to get his money back.
Which you can kind of get back. Kind of.
Right, yeah. So if you steal the handicap fund, you can then give the money back to Frank to choose.
Yeah. And that's kind of ironic if you think about it, because she steals from the handicap fund in the alternate timeline. She becomes paralyzed.
Right. And not only did she become paralyzed, but she isn't able to go to Blackwell because they don't have accessibility.
And
so
there was even foreshadowing before that, before you steal a handicap fund. Is I'm not sure if you know, just before you meet Warren, in the parking lot, you can actually see Chloe's truck, and it's actually parked over one of the disabled.
The handicap.
Yeah, the handicap.
Yeah.
You can park, and I'm guessing that was kind of foreshadowing on that kind of writing behalf and whatnot.
Yeah. Looking back, I would say it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really think of everything.
Everything's so planned out.
Yeah. And it's even we're kind of going off topic with when I'm talking about Jefferson. Yeah, well, even in episode 1 with the quote, I can frame you in a dark corner and capture you in a moment of desperation. Episode 1 just really annoyed me. I replayed that episode and just found that and was ugh.
Really?
The struggle is real.
So yeah, in the alternate reality, it's a good segue into that, talking about how she's paralyzed in the alternate reality. So in the alternate timeline reality, you save William by hiding his keys, get him to take a bus, in which case, she gets to play out her formers with William. She's given a truck by William, and then, gets into a very serious accident afterward, is hit by another car, and is paralyzed from the neck down. So you see alternate Chloe is like still Chloe at heart, but the outward appearances and outward behavior is radically different. She's way more, I guess, mild-tempered. I guess
I don't consider her Chloe.
Sweeter way,
She doesn't say hella.
Yeah.
Not like Chloe at all. Yeah.
I feel so wrong.
Not her with blue hair, but the fact that she doesn't say hella.
Right.
But even like you kind of see references around Chloe's room. Like she kind of still has the punk Chloe at heart with the wristband on the desk and whatnot.
Right.
She always wanted to dye her hair.
Right. So like she's still that Chloe at heart, just acts very different. Also, there's absolutely no animosity whatsoever as Max, even though Max in the alternate reality still hasn't really spoken to her in 5 years. There's like, Chloe is still like just so absolutely excited to see Max. It's a completely different paradigm between the two, or obviously it's a completely different paradigm, completely different reality, but it's just the dynamic is very, very different in that I don't know, it's like almost like they just kind of pick up where they left off, at least in Chloe's eyes. Chloe is still like, I guess, head over heels for lack of a better Max, and there's none of like, I don't know, she's not angry in the least about the fact that Max hasn't talked to her. So,
well, there was some kind of contact, because if you actually look through your phone in the alternate reality, you can kind of see some text messages between Max and Chloe.
Yeah, I think it's like there was maybe like 2 over the course of the years.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Better
one
than
right
nothing.
after she got. Yeah.
Even Max's parents actually sent Chloe a card, which is nice.
Yeah. It has her Max with it as well.
I think we should touch on the topic is like the closest thing to the Chloe that Max knew as a kid, and she only really knows her for like about 12 hours, and then Chloe asks her to pretty much kill her.
Right.
Which pretty much just shows that she's just in so much pain. She really just can't, go on like that any longer. That she knows that she's put her parents in so much debt, but she doesn't really understand how much her parents would really do for Chloe, because I think that Joyce took a second job at Pan Estates. If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that part of the game, which it was one like really emotional half hour for an episode. Probably the most emotional half hour.
Yeah, that episode was freaking brutal.
Absolutely.
I feel like as soon as
Now, what did you guys pick?
I went with I don't know.
Oh
yeah.
That's, if you pick that, that's where she mentions, she just wants to go out in peace, remembering her last day being with her best friend, an amazing last day.
And you get thrown in that decision again, which is
yeah.
Yeah. I picked to kill her. I picked the overdose.
Really?
I had to do
Really?
it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she hates you if you just like it. It's hard to actually, it's hard to do either one because, I mean, what do you want her to do? Die loving you or, yeah, be angry at you for like the rest of her life? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like although Chloe wanted Max to like desperately end her life, like, I feel like it wasn't the right thing to, I don't know. I know I wouldn't have been able to make that choice in real life, so I can't really say that.
And the worst thing was, right, that decision, it said in the episode it wasn't going to have any consequences, but it did.
Right?
It really did. I mean, because in episode 5, when you're trying to convince Chloe not to go in the Vortex Club, it mentions your decision. I was like, oh, no. Ah.
Right. Yeah, that really, I don't know, to me, more so than the ending, that was like one of the hardest decisions of the game to me. Like, even more, that carried the emotion, so much emotional weight, because it was kind of just like, oh God, like, what do I do here? Like, I don't want her to suffer. I don't want her to live out the rest of her life. It's going to be short, and she's just going to suffer up until the point. Like, I don't know. I cried a lot.
Did. Like,
We all did.
Every playthrough that I've seen of that episode, everybody cried at that moment. If not the moment where Chloe finds Rachel.
Yeah.
Or the ending thing.
Oh. I mean, even the episode 4 ending and the episode 5 ending, if to people who didn't like cry and whatnot, the heartless.
Oh my God.
Leave, please. Yeah. Still, that. I mean, I guess. I think the one thing that kind of makes Chloe, as well, somewhat, in my opinion, likable as she really is just the performance from Ashley Birch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know she was mainly known for her comedic performances in on a YouTube channel and from Hey Ash, What You're Playing. But when this game hit, I guess it kind of shows the dramatic potential that Ashley had. And even a few months ago in November, there was this award ceremony in the UK called the Golden Joysticks Award, and she actually won the best performance for Chloe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she even beat Mark Hamill as the Joker, which is huge because people consider Mark Hamill to be their favorite Joker because of the performance, and he was doing it for 20 years and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And yeah, but still, the entire, because it was live streamed, the entire chat was happy that she won.
She's amazing.
And
yeah,
I don't know. I think it really, her performance and just, her ability to handle that role really, I guess just kind of sells you on Chloe. I don't want to say more so than the Chloe's character, because that was extremely well done as well. I mean, Chloe was extremely, the depth of her character is phenomenal. But I guess, just the presentation of it, for Ashley's presentation of it kind of drives that point. Especially, when you do in episode 4, when you do find Rachel's body.
I even though I was crying like an absolute maniac in that moment, I felt I almost wanted to applaud for some reason. The performance.
And going back to with feels about Rachel, I think that makes it pretty obvious, I guess, the extent of what Chloe felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is heavy stuff.
Did we move on to the ending? The episode 5, like the saving Chloe or Arcadia Bae?
Yeah. Or else I'm going to continue to deteriorate into an emotional mess.
Do you guys have anything else to say before we move on to that?
Jamie, you good?
There's pretty much a part of the ending that I want to talk about. As so people who don't know, in the game files of Life is Strange, there's actually multiple takes and unused lines from the game, from the voice actors and whatnot. And there are actually different versions of pretty much almost every line in that in like the ending.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I was like scrolling through and I was just saying, I wonder what this one is. And then you just hear Chloe crying, like, nope, 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 and just shut it off and pulled my headphones away and just like, nope, nope.
What was it?
Oh, I think it was Chloe's last line, if you sacrifice her.
Oh, God.
Like, I will always love you, and like, Max,
gosh.
don't you forget about me. It's just like, nope, I'm done. It's like...
The feels.
Yeah, it's like, at that moment, you kind of have to have a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Time out just to sit in the corner and contemplate life.
Mm-hmm.
But still, yeah, let's talk about this ending, man.
Yeah.
Because either way,
which one to start with?
Let's talk about the shortest ending first, which is the sacrifice Arcadia Bae.
Okay.
Because, well, pretty much to those who don't know and really don't care about spoilers, you're giving an ultimatum at the end of the game. You can either let the tornado happen and just leave Arcadia Bae with Chloe, or just go jump back to the bathroom and let Chloe die, which won't activate Max's powers, but therefore won't cause the tornado to happen. And the shortest one, it kind of sums up Max's and Chloe's relationship, in no words whatsoever, when they kind of just in Chloe's truck, driving through Arcadia Bae, seeing all the destruction. Max feels guilty, but Chloe's kind of there for her. Right. Boy, that was a mouthful.
Of satisfactory, but also very unsatisfying.
Well,
like, so it's like, I don't know, but it's also, it makes you happy because they both live. So it's like, is it worth it? Like,
I felt it was worth it though.
Yeah.
I feel trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ending was terrible because, well, not really terrible as in it was bad as in writing. I mean, it was terrible as in emotionally. But both of them were, because you can see, like, you can't really see it, but there's, like, a few bodies in the streets covered over by blankets and whatnot. And it kind of just sinks in, oh no, what have I done? And I'm guessing, do you think that sums up that ending, or is there anything else you should add?
I think if that ending, it's quite obvious how you feel about Chloe at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite obvious. Well, and it's how Max feels about it. You can read about it. She's done all this for Chloe. She's done all this to keep Chloe alive and all that, and it's in order to be with Chloe, and I don't know, like, it's really kind of powerful when you think about it in that context of just, like, I don't know, went through such great lengths for one person, and, like, it's heartwarming to think about it on Chloe's end, especially considering the life she's had and how she lost everything.
Yeah.
What little bit she could regain, she would also lose. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll sink with that ship too, but yeah, that, like, I don't know. I just felt very, very, like, I guess, happy for Chloe. And As opposed to the other ending.
Oh boy.
Do we even have to talk about it?
We have to.
Yeah.
All right, everybody get your tissues out.
Yeah.
I guess pretty much.
I was surprised that so many people picked that too.
Yeah, because as of last week, it was 56% chose to sacrifice Chloe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I seen a pretty good summary of it, of the both endings before we move on to this one. Is someone got a screenshot of the choice screen and edit it and changed the text of it, so it said undo every decision you've ever made or let everybody die.
Right.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
Because if you go back, you can't rewind, can't do reflect on any decision that you've made.
Exactly.
And boy, but if there's one thing that I'm somewhat glad about that ending, is that no matter what you do in that throughout the gameplay, and if you choose that ending, Kate's alive.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is that
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you do decide to sacrifice Chloe ends up dying alone, not really knowing that just how loved she is, bleeding out on the bathroom floor in Blackwell Academy. You kind of see there's a decent turnout at her funeral, but
I'm turned up.
Yeah. So
dog.
It's which makes that whole ending even more emotional, is because you see that, like, to some degree, we had a support system if she had developed it and knew how to reach out to it and all that. But okay.
Yeah.
That hits me hard.
I was even surprised that Victoria turned up out of everyone.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, really.
Did Victoria know Chloe? Because I don't think she did.
I think so.
Maybe like they passed at a Vortex Club party or something.
Yeah.
Right, and also Rachel's interaction with Victoria and the fact that Chloe used to go to Blackwell. And Magdalene kind of the only newcomer to Blackwell.
Yeah.
So I think they probably, weren't friends or anything, but I think they knew each other.
Mm-hmm. Just like in passing.
Right.
Oh boy.
But you do tentatively, you do get the kiss if you choose that ending.
And if you make the well, pretty much the decisions towards Chloe throughout the game.
Right.
Still, alright, this is kind of a funny story to what I was watching today, because I was watching a playthrough of episode 5. And this YouTuber called Emma Blackery, she was deciding on what to do at the ending. So she clicked sacrifice Chloe first, and as soon as she seen Max and Chloe kiss, she knew she made a mistake. She was like, oh no, I want to go back. And then, like, throughout the funeral, she was just emotional. So I felt really bad.
Oh my god.
She didn't know anything about the game. She kept away from spoilers since the game came out. Well, the episode 5 came out in October.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Because for like some personal reasons, I couldn't play episode 5 until a week later. And like I could see like on my timeline screenshots of like Max and Chloe in the rain. I didn't read anything. I was like, nope, put my phone down. Just like left the internet for a day or so.
The nightmare scene.
Oh no.
Can imagine seeing spoilers of that.
Oh, I think that sums up Chloe. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
Something.
I do have a couple of last little points that I want to point out.
Sure.
I believe there's an article by I believe the name is Rowan Red, maybe 1 or something like that. I'll look it up. I do want to mention just I'm not saying that this is truth or not, or telling you what to believe, but it is interesting. He kind of has a type up of Chloe potentially having PTSD. With the things. It's an interesting read. It gives a little bit of insight into PTSD as well. So check that out.
There was somewhat hints throughout the game that she kind of had borderline personality disorder as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Again, it's armchair psychology at best, and I'm not qualified either way, but I don't know if I necessarily with that. I think more so what she was going through is just extreme grief and
heartbreak.
I don't know. I mean, you could argue it either way, and obviously someone more qualified could definitely put me in place. I have had some experience with people with borderline personality disorder, and I can see some comparisons, but I don't know if I would be as quick to say, yeah, she has that, as opposed to, PTSD because the thing about PTSD is, it's mostly known, for like wartime, as like a kind of a wartime thing, soldiers coming back and it happening, but it's really it's post-traumatic stress disorder. Like any traumatic event, you can get PTSD from.
Because I've even heard with even after some childbirth, some females can actually suffer from PTSD after that experience as well.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the TV show Scrubs for helping me learn that lesson.
But yeah, Rowan Red 61 maybe is their Reddit username. But anyway, we'll get that up. I'll get that.
We'll put it in the description box.
Tweet about it or something. Yeah, we'll put it in the description box. It's an interesting read. And yeah, I too, another thing that one last point I want to hit on is you kind of see a lot of separation anxiety, and not in the sense that you think your pet has separation anxiety there. Well, I mean, you could kind of compare it to that, when they're tearing up the blinds because you're leaving. Chloe's to everyone leaving for, and she's so messed up from everybody leaving in whatever way they leave, whether it's William dying, Rachel disappearing, Max moving out to Washington.
Yeah.
You kind of see a lot of her not letting anybody in, and that can come from a fear of losing people, so you just don't let people in at all. So again, this is armchair psychology at best. I'm going just based off my own personal experiences, but it's just something to keep in mind, something to think about. If it's something that interests you, do some research on this stuff. One thing, I say it like every episode, but one thing that I like about this game is just that it hits on some very real topics, some things that, you kind of need to think about. Mental health is very important.
Yeah.
And
the game deals with it very maturely as well. It doesn't make fun of it or whatsoever. It just handles it like how it should be handled in real life.
Right, exactly. So if that is something that interests you, do some research on it. There's lots of books out there. If that's something that you're going through, find help where you can find it. I do want to recommend 7cupsoftea.com. I just want to throw it out there. It's an online kind of like a therapy session. They're not trained therapists, but it is just someone to talk to if you're going through some hard times. And then, of course, Don't Nod actually has... Yeah.
I do not have that. Like
the entire support page.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to. That's all I got on that. So I think it's time for our everyday heroes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So those who don't know what Everyday Heroes is, it's a segment that we have towards the end of the episode where we appreciate the fan art of the community, whether it be cosplay, fan art, or even in the future we may put videos, music, blah, 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 blah. So, Jess, would you like to start us off with this week's entry?
Yes. So this week's entry is Chloe Price cosplay _ Chloe _ Price _ on Instagram. A lot of underscores. Yeah, so she kept Chloe's personality like perfectly in this picture. I love the blue hair. It's definitely Chloe.
Yeah.
It definitely represents Chloe. It's perfect. I mean, her eyes are blue to match her hair. I don't know if those are contacts or her real eyes, but I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's spot on. The outfit, spot on. She has Chloe's necklace on, which I believe you can get on Amazon if I'm correct, but I mean, I love the bullets. They're, I mean, awesome. Although my favorite part is the cigarette in her mouth. It's almost hanging out, giving a careless expression, kind of exactly the way Chloe would have it in her mouth.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a very realistic looking Chloe, and I think this is what she would look like if she was like a real person. Like, I feel like this is what she would look like in real life.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very hard for people to actually determine whether the color of Chloe's hat is either dark blue or purple.
Yeah, I could never.
She seems to have actually got it, hit the nail on the head with it. Quite well.
Yeah, it's dark blue, right? Navy blue.
Navy blue or purple.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think, like a little bit of a teal with like purple roots, which you can't see in that because she's wearing, Chloe's beanie. But I think the shade of it looks pretty close to the end game. Yeah, when this just seems like a picture that Chloe would take. Also, of Chloe taking a selfie. So I, kind of to add on to what you said, Jess, she should just capture the spirit of Chloe.
Whilst I was actually getting this image, I actually found a rather funny video, because this was a cosplay for New York Comic Con, which previously just passed, and this cosplayer actually met Ashley Birch.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Chloe. Yeah, which is
it was really cool.
And
that is awesome.
It was really funny because I think it was like the end of like the rocket jump panel or something. And she basically ran up the stage and went, Ashley, like, hold my hand or something. And then you just see Ash just high-five it. It was awesome.
I didn't see that. I should check it out.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
It was funny. It really made me laugh.
That's something she would do, actually.
Okay. So, Joey, what have you chosen this week?
My choice, the title is simply Chloe by Black Assassin 999 in art. Oh man, so I'll keep this kind of a bridge, but there's so much I love about this picture, from just the detail of it all the way to just the motion blur on the background of her driving, and like the stuff that's in the back of the truck, even a lot of it, but you can see kind of the graffiti that was in the back of Chloe's truck. But I also like just the line of it. when I saw this, I was like, okay, I gotta. I hope they let me use that, and they did. So thank you, Black
Wow.
Assassin.
Wow.
Where to start on talking about this? I mean, I really like it because I'm guessing they took inspiration from pretty much episode 1, when Chloe and Max are kind of rekindling their relationship on the way back to Chloe's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can picture this exact moment is kind of when Chloe gave Max crap about not seeing her for 5 years, and just before Max is gonna see as a camera and whatnot, and just seeing Chloe just stare at in the road and just kind of contemplating what's happened is just really well done in this image.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add, Jess?
Oh, I was gonna say I love the colors of the painting. It's beautiful. I mean, even the sunlight on the, I don't know, is that a rainbow? That looks like a rainbow behind her. I don't know, but it's beautiful. Of the colors that they chose for the background, for the foreground, for everything. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really great image. So well done, Black Assassin 999.
Yeah, thank you.
You did good.
And that leaves us with your choice, Jamie.
Oh boy. So mine is called Polarized by Marika. I believe that's how you pronounce it on DeviantArt. Yep. And this pretty much, I don't know where to start with this. I really chose this because you see, I like it the way that it's kind of somewhat black and white, and the only color is the dark, the kind of shades of blue in the swirl to kind of represent the tornado, and then the dark red along the borders, and with Chloe to actually kind of show bloodstains, and where their hands interlocked between the tornado kind of shows their link as friends and whatnot. And I'm a huge fan of the black spirals because I'm actually quite a big fan of Tim Burton and his art style. Because it kind of reminds me of that artwork that he normally does with the cliff face and Nightmare Before Christmas and all that good stuff. Still, I really like the design and the shading on both Chloe and Max. I mean, even with Chloe's jacket, you can see the white on the sleeves and the hat, which is good detail instead of just leaving it black. So you can kind of see the outlines of the spirals.
Yeah, the line work is really, really well done. One thing too, that I kind of got the vibe from is you mentioned the red outline and the red coloring and all that. It's reminiscent of when you rewind too far.
Oh yeah.
Just that that screen burn before Max kind of snaps to. That's the feel I got from that. From that color.
Same.
That's a good point. I did not know
which I think is really cool. Another thing too is the I guess the wind blowing of Max's hoodie is really well done, and the bag strap, just kind of smaller detail. That's a really nice touch. How the bag strap is kind of pushing in the hoodie, and then the other side is obviously flying around with the vortex. So yeah, it's another. Well, okay, and the last thing that I want to say about it too is I really it's a comic book feel, and growing up as and still being a comic book nerd, I really appreciate that. So
yeah, I mean, definitely. I was going to say exactly what you just said. The first thing I saw when I thought of when I saw this was Rewind. That's what I thought of, the whole spiral backwards thing, the whole red border, when you go too far. That's, I mean, exactly what I was thinking. So yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree totally on that one. It's just beautifully drawn. I always wish I could draw comics, but just the shadows are perfect. Everything, I love it. Good job to, how do you say that? Marika.
Marika.
Right? Marika. With 2 A's or 3 A's.
Okay. So
we are maybe our second week in a row of pronouncing all the names right. I don't want to jinx us, but maybe we can get it right from now on.
Yeah, let's just hope we don't mess up anymore, eh?
Right.
Okay. So if you want to enter your artwork or cosplay into the Blackwell podcast for us to use it in Everyday Heroes, please just send it to us through our email, blackwellpodcast@hotmail.com. We put it in the credits every week, so you won't be able to miss it. And,
you can also tweet it to us.
Yeah, and if we don't get any artwork submitted we normally go on the scavenge and try and find people. So check our inboxes on DeviantArt, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. We'll everywhere. We will find you.
Answer us, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's time to move on to that announcement, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right,
let's do it.
Okay, so right, I pretty much should start off by saying this is quite a big announcement, and we have the privilege of announcing it in a video format. So we just leave it for you to watch.
Sunshine for everyone, but as far as I can remember, we've been migratory animals, living under changing weather.
Okay then. So we have somehow got Hannah Tell, the voice of Max Caulfield, to be in the next episode.
Yeah. We are like overflowing with excitement about this.
I mean, how long we've been planning this since like episode 1, right?
Yeah, we messaged her like when we first started, like pretty much after the first episode. It took her a while to get back to us, but she did finally get back to us because she's just an incredibly nice person. Mm-hmm. Originally voiced, interest in being, but then we weren't able to sort out the details, and then we had that, that hiatus in the first and second episode. But now we're doing it, and it's happening.
And here is the fun part. So if you would like to submit any question that you have for Hannah, well, any question within reason, send it to us via email, and please call it something along the lines of question for Hannah or something like that, so we can easily find it. And the deadline for the questions will be New Year's Eve, which is this Thursday, I believe.
Correct.
Thursday or Friday. And
Thursday.
The episode should be up next Sunday, which is the 3rd, which is when we're having the interview, obviously. So yeah, that is pretty much what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, so pick a few, keep it appropriate, of course. You want to be selected to have your question read, and of course, if you're familiar with our Dayan interview, we acknowledge who asked the question and all that. Also, if your question already is one that we planned on asking anyway, one that we had already planned, don't feel like we stole that question. Just understand that was one we already had planned, and so. But anyway, so get your questions in.
And in order to kind of reduce that risk of if we ask your questions before the fan question segment, try to ask multiple questions so we can try and acknowledge you on the show.
Right.
And that pretty much sums up
Thank you, as always.
this episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, it's going to be a busy week getting this ready.
Yes, it will be. As always, thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like it.
If you have any say to us, if you have something you want to see mentioned, that type of thing, you can tweet to us, you can email us, you can leave your comment.
Even you can submit possible future episodes for us to talk about as well.
Absolutely.
And with that, we will see you all next week.
Adieu.
Bye.
Goodbye.